Hi guys, I'm Deidre Anderson, romance author and one half of the book review duo D&J. You're watching my channel. Welcome back. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that bell so that you can be notified every time I upload. I post new videos every Monday with a lot of bonus content. So go ahead and ding that bell so you'll be sure not to miss anything. Today we will be doing a different type of video. We'll be starting a brand new series on the channel calling Discover With Me. And today we're going to be discovering publishing on Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP. Now, a lot of you guys have been asking me how I get my books published. You don't understand what self-publishing is, and today I'm giving you a sneak peek into that. Now, if you're already an established author, you would already know how to use Kindle Direct Publishing if you're self-published, that is. But a lot of the people that I talk to on social media and a lot of the people I know in real life have no clue how I go about doing this. So when you're self-publishing, there are a bunch of different outlets that you can decide to use. When I was published, I used the Kindle Direct Publishing. I was enrolled in Kindle Unlimited, which is basically making your books exclusive to Amazon. So today I'm going to show you how to do that, and further on in the Discover With Me series, we may even go into exploring different platforms and how to get your books wide. But today we're going to be focusing on KDP and going exclusive to Amazon. Alright, so the very first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go onto the KDP website to sign up. So if you're not aware what that is already, that's kdp.amazon.com. So you're a brand new author, you're a brand new writer, and you want to get your stuff published. You've gone through the writing process, you've gone through the drafting process, you've gone through the editing process, you've gone through getting a professional edit, and you believe that your book, you've gotten a cover designer and you've made your cover, and now you're ready, and you believe that your book is ready to be seen by the public. This is what you do. So you come to KDP at the URL that we just discussed. I'll also place the URL for you somewhere down below. So it will be the URL that I'm putting right across the video here. Right? This is a wonderful introduction video. You can go ahead and watch it if you'd like. It does give you like a little visual walkthrough of who KDP is and what their goal is. So you can go ahead and check that out when you have time. So you come to the sign in page, you click sign up, you're going to create an account just as you would. So let's pretend that we have an account. We have an email there and it's called Deidre and Books at gmail.com. Okay, now what you want to do when you're signing up is that you want to sign up with whatever account it is that you have on Amazon. So if you generally shop on Amazon, you want to use that same account, as all the Amazon products are linked. So all the Amazon services are linked. So if you generally shop from Books at gmail.com, you can go ahead and use that one. However, it may, if you are like me and you have a ton of emails and you register for a ton of newsletters, you may want to use a different email that will essentially be geared just for your business. So what I would recommend is to create a new Amazon account, and this would be your business Amazon account, right? So if you're going to be publishing under, say, Emmanuel Books, then create an Amazon account for Emmanuel Books and you can use that one. But if you don't mind and you want to keep everything in one place, go ahead and use your existing Amazon account. Don't worry, none of your purchases will be displayed here. It's just for Amazon to keep everything in one place. Now remember, remember. What a lot of people don't tell you when you're just starting out, you can only, or you should only, based on the TOS, have one personal KDP account. I say personal because you can, in fact, have, so if you have registered a company, you have an LLC if you're living in the States, or an LTD if you're living outside of the States, or if you even have an offshore LLC, however you decide to structure your corporation, if you have a company registered, then you may be able to have a second KDP for your company, your publishing brand. But I would recommend making sure that you check with Amazon before you do this, because their terms and conditions change often, guys. Their rules change often, and you want to be sure that you're keeping up to date with their present rules. Okay, all right, back to the actual process. So you go ahead and you enter your preferred email and password, right? If you go, already have an Amazon account. So if you're using your existing Amazon account, you write in your email and your password that you use on Amazon and click sign in, and it will take you to the page. If you are registering for the very first time, you go ahead and you click create your KDP account, right? And you go ahead and you enter your name, your email address, preferred password, click create. All right. And you basically go through the process. You go through, fill out the form, click create. Okay, so once you register, or once you sign in for the very first time, it's going to take you to the My Account page. Essentially, you're going to go through and you're going to enter your information. So you're going to enter your country, your full name. Now, this is the name of your publishing company, what you want the publisher to say. Now, what a lot of people don't tell you is that if you put your right name there, so if you put, so for example, if you're publishing, say you're publishing as, say I publish under Delagia Press, right? Now, say you're publishing under a publishing company, a different name than your own, and that's who you want to show up as a publisher. Now, there is another place where you can, in fact, put that information when you're actually creating the books. But if you have a registered company and you're putting your corporation, you can, in fact, use your corporation name here instead of yours. So if you have a registered company for your publishing business, you go ahead and put that name here, and the address details, etc., for your company. If you're publishing as yourself, you haven't created a publishing house, you're just publishing under your own name, then you can put your name here. What's going to happen, however, is that when you look on your Amazon page, when you pull your book up, you're going to see your name as both the author and the publisher, or you may see your name as the author and Amazon as the publisher, depending on if you use your own ISBN or the Amazon ISBN. So just be wary of that. Then you go down and you enter how you want to get paid and the tax information for the country in which you reside. All right, now, or the country in which you are a resident for tax purposes. Okay, when you have all that out the way, you're going to be directed to your bookshelf. Now, your bookshelf, when you're just beginning, will only have this little top part here, right? If you've never published a book before, you'll only see this section of the website, right? I have books published in the past, so books will be there for me. We won't scroll down. But what we're going to do when you want to begin for your very first book, you decide if you're going to do a ebook version on Amazon, which is the Kindle ebook, or a paperback. Both processes are pretty similar, so we'll just go with the ebook for purposes of this video. Now, once you select ebook, it takes you to the page to add the information about your book. So you want to go through and put what you've decided. So if your book is called Only Me, you go ahead and put that there. Now, the subtitles in fiction, subtitles are or important based on your genre, right? It's optional. You won't necessarily always have a subtitle, but depending on your genre, it could be pretty helpful. In romance, for example, there has been a trend to put the trope you're using in the subtitle, or something you want your reader to know about in the subtitle of your book. So if say your book title name is Only Me, it doesn't really say a lot about romance per se, right? So you may want to add a subtitle to that to get your readers to know what they're looking in, to get your readers to see right on the bat what they're reading. So say it's Only Me, right? Only Me. Do you want it to be a billionaire romance? Do you want it to be so you could say a new age billionaire romance. Huh, I can't spell. So a new age billionaire romance. Right now, this subtitle would be what you see in, so on Amazon you generally see let's see if I can show you what that would look like. So let's go to Amazon really quickly. Right, and okay, so now you see what I searched for on Amazon. So let's go to Amazon really quickly and let's go into romance. Most romance let's do ebooks. Most romance novels will have a subtitle just because it's just common, right? So here we go. So your subtitle doesn't even have to be anything significant. This one here, so The Giver of Stars, this is the title, and you see where you have the colon, this right here. So a novel, this is the subtitle of this book. So essentially, because The Giver of Stars could be anything, right? It could be a book about astrology. It could have been anything. So they decided to use a novel as a subtitle so that they know that they'll be reading a novel. Okay, so back to the walkthrough. All right, and now you go to where you add series name. Now, if you're writing a series, it could be a standalone. If you're writing a standalone, skip this section. But if you're writing a series, the name of your series will be here. So say the name of your series is the For Me series. I pretty conceited today because my book is called Only Me and my series is the For Me series. It's all about me today. So the For Me series, right? And say this is book 1 in your series. If it was book 3, you would put book 3. So you essentially, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? So the For Me series, oh serious, wow. The For Me series, and it's book 1, right? Now this here will be presented beside your book name in brackets, in parentheses. So let's see if we can find any here. Right, boom. So this one is called The Last Sister, right? This is the title. It doesn't have a subtitle because you'd see the subtitle beside it, beside a colon, right? So this would be the subtitle if it had one, but this doesn't have one. And this here is the name of the series and how it will look when you put it in. So you'll have Columbia River Book 1 for this book because this is essentially the series of this book. All right, moving along. Then you go through and you basically fill in the boxes. If you're redoing this book, if it's a second edition, a special edition, you'd put that there. Most first-time authors won't fill this box in, so you can skip over that. And then you fill in the particulars of your book. If you are the primary author, or if you wrote the book primarily, or if you have the rights to what you're publishing primarily, you put your name here, or the pen name you will be using. Please note, whatever you put here is what will be displayed on your book description page, your product page. So if you're not publishing under your real name, do not put your real name here. So put the pen name or whatever name you want to show up on your book product page. Whatever name you have on the actual book cover, that's what you put here, right? You must have a first and last name. So if it's a company name, you may want to split it between first and last, but you must have a first and last name. It won't work if you try to save it without entering something here. So for the purpose of this video, we'll say first name Gigi, last name Andy. All right, and contributions would be if you co-authored the book and there's a second author, you add it there. If you want to give a credit to your editor, illustrator, anyone you want to give a credit to, you'd put their name here and it would also show up on your products page. If it's an audiobook, then you would put the narrator, for example. All right, and then your book description. Now, your book description matters. On Amazon, it could be one sentence, it could be a paragraph. Based on your genre, it will be different. If you're publishing a non-fiction or a fiction book, it will also be different. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just enter a sentence. So this is a tutorial about KDP. Typing with one hand, bear with me. So this is a tutorial about KDP. That's our book description for this, but remember you can use HTML descriptors. So if you wanted it to be bold, you would basically put in an HTML code, because this does not do formatting, guys. This will come up plain Jane on your book description. It does not do formatting. If you want it to be formatted, you can easily search a description formatter online. You would write HTML KDP book description tool. Again, I can't spell today. Search. Did I still write? Oh, HTML. Of course, Deidre. So you write the HTML book description tool, and any one of these can be used. I use Kindle Printer all the time, so this can be used. I won't walk through that here, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You go through, you paste your description, and it'll give you a code. That'll be it. All right. So here is where you go ahead and you pick if you're doing if you wrote the book yourself, or if you hired a ghostwriter and you have all the necessary publishing rights, you'll select this one. If you are basically doing a public domain work, so you picked a book that's in the public domain that was written years ago, or the author has already died more than 50 years ago, then you will select this one. If you're doing minor tweaks, you do have people that republish, like Pride and Prejudice. Not a retelling, but just Pride and Prejudice with a different color, illustrations, maybe a study guide. You need to make Amazon aware that it is a public domain work that you have redone. The difference here will show up in your royalties, but we'll talk a bit more about that in either a different video or when we get to that page slightly. So, all right, let's go forward. It's going to be a long video. Okay. So you essentially, let's say we wrote the book ourselves. So that's that. Now we can do a whole other video on how to find good keywords. But once you have decided what your keywords would be, you can use 1, you can use 7. I would suggest using all 7. So you'll go through and add what your keywords are. For purposes of this video, I'll just add a few in here. These are not tested keywords, guys. It haven't been tested. We'll do a video, maybe next week's video. We'll do a walkthrough of how to find good keywords, the tools you can use, tips or tricks. We'll make a keyword base. So let's go. So we have Only Me, Billionaire Romance, short romance. Okay, so we'll just use 4 for now. Remember, I do recommend you using all 7. All right, let's move along. Now, the categories as well. It's basically how this is the bookshelf that your book will be on Amazon. So this is how people will find your book. So if you're writing a romance, you'll essentially be under fiction, and then you go down, you find whatever category it is that you will be using. Right, looking down, there are lots of categories on Amazon, guys, and you want to place your book in the right category because this is the bookshelf your book is on. So if you're writing a romance, you don't want your book to end up on horror or thriller, because that audience may not be interested in what you're writing. So say we're writing romance and it's a military romance, so we'll pick that one. All right, and because we had diversity in our books and our main characters were of two different cultures or two different races, it's going to be multicultural, so we'll click that one. All right, so we've placed our book in a category. Now this is a romance, and you have to be sure that all your books are age appropriate. So if you're writing a children's book or if you're writing a book for kids, go ahead and specify it here. This wouldn't be a kid's book, so we won't go through that. But if you did in fact write a book for kids, go ahead and select the age range, minimum and maximum that you want reading your book. All right, that's very important, guys. Now, if you're ready to release your book now, you select that option. And if you're going to be doing a pre-order, select that option. You tell them when you want your release date to be, and then we click save and continue. There are 3 pages to this. So the process is, the very first time you do it, it may be a little time consuming, but once you get everything done right, it won't. Once you get everything done in your brain and you get it done right, it goes pretty quickly. All right, so this is essentially a management protection program that Amazon has to protect your ebook file. Now, it essentially stops people from being able to convert your book to another format or taking it off the Kindle platform. Now, this is a personal choice. You can choose to use it or not based on your preference. Let's just leave yes for now. Then you're going to find your ebook file. Now, ebook on Amazon, you can upload a doc file, you can upload a EPUB file, you can upload a KPF file, which is basically created with Kindle Create. You can do a Word doc, you can do a Mobi file. There's an entire list here. There's a bunch of them that are accepted. So any one of these ones you can use. All right, now let's go back. You find your file. For the purposes of this tutorial, we'll just find a random, I have a lot of them. I've had a really, really interesting publishing journey. So let's go ahead, and that will upload. It may take a while depending on the size of your file, right? And then they'll go through and they will essentially spell check and go through that for you. Then you're going to upload a cover of your file. You want to upload a cover that you created. Now, if you don't already have a pre-made cover, you can use the cover launcher here, which we'll do just for purposes of this video. But if you've gone ahead and hired a graphic designer to create a custom photo, which I recommend, you can go ahead and upload the file you already have here. If not, then you can use the cover create, which I don't generally recommend, so let's not do that. Let's go ahead and upload a cover here. We'll use the cover that I created for my episode story. Why not? Let's go ahead and use my episode cover. So we'll go ahead and this isn't the cover, this is the intro page, but it'll do for the purposes of this tutorial. So let's say that this was a completed cover, and this is what our graphic designer came up with. That's what we're using, so they'll process that file there as well. All right, now before you can go forward, you will have to save and preview your your actual book to see what it will look like. Before you do that, go ahead and decide if you'll be using your own ISBN, then you'll enter it here. If you and whatever the publisher is, if you have a registered company, you put the publisher here. Now, if you are going to be using an Amazon ISBN, because that is an option when you're publishing directly through Amazon for your ebook, you essentially just leave that blank, right? And Amazon will fill in the ISBN information for you. All right, now then you're going to click save and continue. It's going to tell you that you need to preview your book. Remember, go ahead and preview it, right? I'll come right back when it's done because this can take a while. All right, so you have previewed your book. It looks perfect. Now let's move on to the final page, which is Kindle pricing. So on this page, you're going to select here if you want your book to be enrolled into the KDP Select program. This is what essentially gets your book on KDP. Now, important point to note, if you do select this option here, you are essentially telling Amazon that your ebook will be exclusive on Amazon, nowhere else, for 3 months. Right? Now, you can choose to opt out of the program after the first 3 months, but your book will essentially be locked into Amazon exclusively for 3 months. Therefore, you want to be sure when you're clicking this option here that you do not have your ebook anywhere else. Because if Amazon finds your ebook anywhere else, you will be kicked from the program and you won't be able to benefit from like the page reads, etc. that you need if you're exclusively Amazon, right? Okay, so let's move down here. Then you select what territories you want to publish in. Are you publishing worldwide, where you want your book to be able to be found on Amazon worldwide anywhere someone is, or do you want to only publish in your country, in your specific region? Select that here. All right, now on to the section that a lot of people wonder about when publishing, your pricing. Okay, so remember when we were doing the selection of the public domain or the writing your own content? That was important here. This pricing percentage that we're seeing here is because we selected that we wrote our own book. We own all the rights, right? So if you own all the rights to your book, you have two options here for royalties. There's a 35% and a 70%. It gets even further. In order to get access to that 70%, this 70% here, and your book is in KDP, right? You want to be sure that you price your books anywhere between $2.99 and $9.99, right? Because it will tell you here, there you go. So it must be between $2.99 and $9.99. And this is regardless of if you decide to go in KDP or not. So the pricing of your book determines what structure you can get. If your book is priced at $10.99 or less, if your book is priced at $10 or higher or less than $2.99, then you'll only be able to pick the 35% royalty. Now, if you had selected that you were republishing a public domain book, your royalty structure would be different. I believe that one is 30%. Don't quote me on that one. I've never done a public domain book, but you can Google it. But I want to say that it's 30% that you get off the public domain ones, right? So every selection count, guys. Be sure you're clicking on the right ones. All right, so say we're publishing our book at $2.99, 70% royalty. Here's how it works. Here's the breakdown. So if you're getting a 70% royalty, right, on a $2.99 book, the file size that we uploaded, Amazon is going to be charging us 7 cents for delivery to get it on their platform, right? So after they take out their delivery cost and we sell a book, you will get essentially $2.04 on each book sale, right? If you're going to 35%, you'll end up with $1.05. That's right, you're not taking home the whole pot, because Amazon is helping us out here, right? They're getting your book on the platform for free, essentially upfront, but that payment will come back, right? So they take out their delivery cost, they take out their their cut of the pie, and then this is what you end up with. So each book that you sell, you will get paid for this one, right? You'll also have an option here to allow your books to be in the lending program. If you select this, you can go ahead and get your books to be lent in like family libraries, or if someone buys your book, they can lend it to someone in their family library that they share books with, right? And then you'll be compensated for that. You'll also get Kindle page reads if you're enrolled in KU. That's the exclusivity for 3 months, and that will also help with your income. Right now, once you've gone through the pricing structure, that's it. You're essentially at the end. The only thing left to do is to click this orange publish your Kindle ebook button. You click this button here. We won't click it here because this is not a real book. Then your book will be sent to Amazon for review. They typically get your book review within 1 to 3 days, right? If it's not a holiday, or if, well, in this COVID is going on, so it may take a little bit longer in this pandemic time, but generally it's 1 to 3 days. And once that goes live, then you'll be able to see your book on Amazon, and that will be it. So guys, I hope you learned something today. I hope I was able to help you out. Oh, remember, you can only have one KDP account if you're publishing under multiple pen names. Just put that name there in the author name. Do not create a second KDP account, as that's against the COC and you can be banned for having multiple accounts. So please, if you're not aware of what you're doing, ask somebody. Email KDP, use the contact us form on the bottom of their KDP page, and get the information, right? Use the contact us, get the information from them, always be in the right. Okay, so that's been our tutorial, guys. Go ahead and hit that like button if you liked this video. Let me know you like this type of content. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, or if I helped you, or if you learned anything, or if I forgot anything. Leave it down in the comments so we can help each other out. And go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know that you like this type of content. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'm Deidre Anderson again, and until next time, bye!